Welcome to NFL Wild Card Weekend of the Sports Phenom Show, the best damn sports betting show on the planet, where you get all of my capping insight and picks on every game in under 30 minutes. No boring gibberish, only the main points that need to be said, and no commercials, just the way we like it. I am the owner of sportsbettingphenoms.com, better known as the Phenom, World Series of Handicapping Champion. I run the only site on the planet where all of our cappers had to go through a rigorous qualifying process, all of which did so with at least a 60% record, an unprecedented unit of profits, max lines of minus 150, different tier levels based on each capper's performance, where all results are fully documented from day one, and all of our packages are 100% guaranteed to profit. No one else offers what we do at more than fair pricing and unprecedented results you simply can't get anywhere else. Well, folks, first off, before we get to this week's wild card selections, I want to congratulate everyone that followed my regular season plays here on YouTube. It was an absolutely outstanding, unprecedented season of picks. Going, listen to this, 160 wins and only 96 losses. That's 64 games above 500. That's 63% over 256 plays. Who else can even come close? This is by far the best record of anyone on YouTube, and I'm sure it is also the best record on the planet, more or less, YouTube. And you got it all for free. Absolutely free. Other services would charge tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know a lot of them out there who would so desperately wish they could provide results this good. Yet again, as I just said, you got it all for free and didn't have to pay the big bucks that those other services would be charging you for results not even anywhere near as close to what I just gave you. It was time for me, folks. It was time for me to show the world what I am all about. Why am I the number one capper on the planet? Well, I just came out here and proved it to the world. I backed it up with unprecedented results, and I also backed up my plethora of endless accolades over the years and let you all know there's only one place you will ever need to be for your sports investment needs, and that's with me, the Phenom, and the rest of my star-studded handicapping team at sportsbettingphenoms.com. Now it's time for me to destroy this wild card round and the rest of the playoffs. Be rest assured, folks, that I will make you more profit in this playoff run, and you surely don't want to miss out on my Super Bowl picks. No one on the planet has a better Super Bowl record than me. So this is the place to be. All right, so let's get to this week's wild card action. I am going to give you a Money 5 list of plays once again here this week. There's 6 games. I've picked out the 5 best for you to take advantage of, and I will repeat them here at the end of the recording. First game, LA Chargers and Houston. This is going to be part 1 of 2 on my only teaser this weekend. That teaser here is going to include Houston. But first, let me give you a little recap of why I'm going to take Houston. So we have a classic public play here to start off the weekend of wild card action where everyone and their grandmother will be on the Chargers. They're going to be all in because of the way that both of these two teams ended this season. You've got the Chargers, who had a solid finish to the season, and you had the Texans, who didn't have a solid finish. But let's dive a little deeper into this. The Texans finished 3-3 to end the year. They didn't look as good as they had all season long, did they? But let's consider this. 2 of those 3 losses they had to end the year were against who? The Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs, and a powerhouse Baltimore Ravens team. 2 powerhouses. So, why are we reading into that as much as we are? I'm not. So neither should you. Let's not forget that Houston was without both Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs in those games. So I think a lot of people are overanalyzing their finish. No doubt. It wasn't the best finish. But there's reasons for that finish. Who they played and who they had in their lineup. On the other hand, we have the Chargers, who finished off the season with 3 straight wins. But why are we not talking about who they beat? They beat the shit Raiders. They beat the shit Patriots. And okay, they beat the Broncos. I'll give them that one. I'll give them a thumbs up there. But that game was at home, and they were barely able to squeak out a touchdown victory in that game. So, this doesn't overly impress me. Plus, let's not forget the importance of home field advantage in the playoffs. The Texans were 5-3 at home this season. So no reason they couldn't win this one. Chargers under first-year head coach Harbaugh, they haven't been here in a while. They're not the best road team in the league. So with all that in mind, I believe the play here is to tease Houston. Either of these two teams could win this game, but the value is bumping up Houston rather than teasing the Chargers the other way. So that's what we're going to do to start this wild card weekend off. I'm going to match them with another team upcoming, so stay tuned for that, and then I'll make the play, the teaser, official. Next game, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Okay, so Baltimore should win this game. Should. But the spread is absolutely ridiculous. Even if Baltimore was to cover the 10 in this game, you have to be a smart bettor. And the clear value here is getting this many points. Especially in a wild card game where anything can happen. And let's not forget, this is a Mike Tomlin-led team that knows how to play you tough with hard-nosed defense. And he's a coach that can be an absolute kryptonite for a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, and it showed. This is showed in their head-to-head matchups. How many games has Pittsburgh won against Baltimore? It's a solid record, isn't it? Mike Tomlin knows what to do against Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. They've played each other endless times. So 10 points is absolutely crazy. And let's not forget about Lamar Jackson's overall playoff resume, which isn't exactly up there with the likes of the Bradys and the Mahomes. He's got his issues there. Will that be the year that this changes this year? Maybe. But we keep saying that, and it hasn't happened. So I believe the clear value here in this one is on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Clearly. Way too many points. Again, Baltimore should win, and that's a should, because it wouldn't be a surprise at all if the Steelers won this game, let's say 24-20 or something like that. Would it surprise anyone? No, not really. I get it. Pittsburgh hasn't had the greatest end of the season. That might be the little thing going against them. Maybe it's a big thing going against them heading into the playoffs. But again, that season is over, the regular season. We're now talking about the playoffs. This is a brand new season with everything in mind here. The points is the bargain. The points is the smart play. That's what you need to be, as a smart bettor. I will take Pittsburgh plus the big points. And for the official line I'm going to give it on this game, make sure to stay tuned at the end for my recap of my Money 5. Next game, Denver and Buffalo. Okay, so this is a perfect game to match up with the Houston Texans tease that I gave you. This is going to be our second team added to that 6-point tease. So yes, officially it is going to be a 2-team 6-point tease. And we're going to end up taking Buffalo down from 8.5 to 2.5 here in this game. And I'm going to give you a quick recap of why I'm going to do that. Denver heads into this wild card matchup as a very, very dangerous team. I think out of all teams, this is the one team that Buffalo didn't want to face just because of how dangerous Denver is. A lot of new quarterbacks this season. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix. Out of all of them, though, what I've seen more so from Bo Nix than the others is incredible progress and his talent shining through more so in the latter half of the season. Jaden Daniels looked much better in the first half than the second half. Caleb Williams also looked better in the first half than the second half. But in this case here, Bo Nix has gotten better as the season has progressed, and that's one of the reasons why they're such a dangerous team. They've got a great defense. The only thing is they're going to be on the road here in this one. But they're definitely going to be a tough out for the Bills. And exactly the reason why I'm going to play this line down from 8.5 to 2.5. I think it's an absolute perfect line. Bills could be up by 10 here if it is a close game. Denver could get that backdoor cover kind of thing with the touchdown and cut it to 3. We're still going to win. I don't see it being anything less than a 3-point win here for Buffalo in this one. So not much more to add to that. That's basically where I'm at here with this game. So to make it official, it's a 2-team 6-point teaser where we're going to take Houston plus 8.5 and take Buffalo down to minus 2.5. Next game, Green Bay and Philadelphia. Well, I had very high hopes for Green Bay this season and have liked them throughout. But after losing Watson last week for the season, and Love having that questionable elbow injury that we're not all very clear about at this point, is it something that's going to affect his play? Does another hit to the elbow mean that he could be potentially replaced again in this game as he was last game? So there's a lot of question marks now with Green Bay that has kind of swayed me from what would have been probably a Green Bay pick here in this spot to now looking at this Philly team as the play. I mean, let's face it, the Eagles had a phenomenal season early on in the year. I wasn't sure if that was going to be the case. There was a lot of riffraff with the coach and the quarterback and a lot of internal squabbles and things like that. And I was surprised at how they were able to get through that. Not only seem to work it all out, but have this amazing season that followed. I mean, the Eagles finished 12-1 to end the year. It's one of the best records in the league in the last 13 games. I believe it actually is the best record to finish this season. And this will be a home field advantage for Philly that's unlike other arenas, in my opinion. Philly's home field with the crowd and their fans is a huge advantage, in my opinion. Philly is clicking on all cylinders here at this point. Not to mention, we have Barkley, who's absolutely salivating at an opportunity to be in the playoffs and show what he can do and have a Super Bowl run. So my play here in this one has changed to Philly. I believe they now, with the circumstances with Green Bay, are the right play and should be able to handle this spread. Again, the official spread that I will give out in this game will be part of my Money 5 recap at the end, so stay tuned for that. Philly, the play against Green Bay. Next game, Washington and Tampa Bay. Okay, so in this one, I only see one clear winner, and that's a hungry Baker Mayfield with an excited Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad. Washington had an amazing dream start to the season this year, but as I mentioned earlier in this podcast, it kind of came back down to reality, back down to earth in the second half of the season after teams started to figure Jaden Daniels out. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe Jaden Daniels has an incredibly bright future. He is going to be the reason why the Commanders are going to be a team to be taken seriously in years to come. He has a hell of a future ahead of him, and I believe he's only going to keep getting better every season thereafter. But they squeaked into the playoffs, in my opinion, folks, and didn't have that second half that they needed to have heading into the playoffs. Not playing nearly as good as they did early on. This is also his first playoff game, the Washington's first playoff game in a while, Jaden Daniels' first playoff game on the road versus an incredibly hungry Baker Mayfield, who I can assure you will want to win this more than anyone, to finally shut up all of his critics, and I believe that he will get the job done here. There's only one play in this game, folks. The smart money on Tampa Bay. And even smarter is to take them on the money line. Next game, Minnesota and the LA Rams. And this is going to be your last game of Wild Card Weekend. And my pick on this one is all based on the line. Ask yourself, why after the season, the incredible, unprecedented season that the Vikings had, getting Sam Darnold, just an amazing season to say the least, did they only open up as a 2.5-point favorite in this game against the team with the worst record heading into the playoffs, the LA Rams? You got to wonder, and you got to ask yourself, there's a reason for that. Why is Vegas saying, hey, feel free, take Minnesota minus 2.5. All they have to do is win by a field goal? Seems too easy, doesn't it? On top of that, Minnesota's a public play. And yet now, the line all of a sudden has gone down to 1.5. When I look further into this, I remind myself, Minnesota's also coming off a very hard-fought loss against Detroit, a team they lost twice to this year. And now they will have another away game all the way in LA. Meanwhile, LA rested nearly everyone last week and will be absolutely fresh and ready to go here for this one. So this is going to be my upset special of the week. I believe LA could also be a very solid dark horse pick to win it all. And speaking of smart betting, you know what you could do here? If you also feel strong on LA, you could take them as high as, I think, 45-1 I've seen. I personally might pounce on that myself. And then you could also hedge them later as long as they got through this game. So a lot to consider and a lot to ponder with LA. If you like them as much as I do, because I truly believe they're going to be able to get through this game. Minnesota, obviously, will still have a lot to look forward to next season. They had a great season this year, but I think it's just the way this has come to fruition here with LA getting that bonus home field game, even with the record that's not nearly as good as Minnesota's. Minnesota's got ripped off here with how the NFL does their playoff matchups. So unfortunate for him there, and also coming off that big game against Detroit, flying away twice on the road here in the last 2 weeks. So this all points towards the shocker of the weekend. There's always got to be at least one. This is the one I believe is just that. So to end off Wild Card Weekend, I absolutely love the LA Rams. Okay, it's time now to recap my Money 5 selections to start off the playoff rounds, the wild card selections. And here they are. Starting first with the only teaser I gave you this week. That's going to be a 2-team, 6-point teaser on Houston plus 8.5, along with Buffalo minus 2.5. Your second selection I gave you is on Pittsburgh. I told you 10 is way too many points for a Mike Tomlin-led Steeler team. That's kryptonite for Lamar Jackson and knows how to play them. They've played each other a ton. I expect this game to be much closer than the line. And smartly, if you bump it up from 10 to 11.5, you got yourself a hell of a line. It might even be one of the best plays of the weekend. Pittsburgh officially, I'm going to give out a plus 11.5. Next Money 5 selection will be on Philadelphia. I told you initially I was liking Green Bay. Looking at this potential matchup a couple weeks ago, I really thought Green Bay was going to be my play, but because of the Watson injury and because of the unknown we have with Love's elbow and just a bad matchup for Green Bay with Philadelphia, 12-1 to end the season. Red hot, on fire, hungry Barkley. Just the whole entire way the season came together for Philadelphia. Gotta love them here. The smart bet is to take them down under a field goal from 4.5 to 2.5, and you got yourself a hell of a play there. Philadelphia minus 2.5. Fourth fun Money 5 selection is going to be on Tampa Bay. We're going to take them on the money line. Not to say that they won't have a much easier victory here, but I just have a squeaky feeling that the money line is the right play in this game. So officially, Tampa Bay on the money line. Finally, my last Money 5 selection of the weekend is going to be that shocker of the weekend. On the LA Rams, right now the current line is plus 1.5. Bump it up a couple points up to 3.5. Take it over that field goal line. Sprinkle a little on the money line because I truly believe they will win this game outright. And those are your 5 Money 5 selections for Wild Card Weekend. Okay, folks, that is going to do it for the Wild Card round. I am the Phenom, wishing you all an amazing week. Let's get this money!